Hello, hello. Welcome, PancakeSwap family, and all the listeners. Welcome to a new episode of Pancake Talks, this podcast that we do it with a lot of love about inviting guests, seeing what is happening in the crypto market, and another day, another week, another guest, the same people on the other side, and I want to invite my partner. I want to invite Annie to the stage. Hey, Annie, how are you doing today?
Hello, Chef Fran. Yeah, everything nice here. I have like a storm here where I am, and yeah, that is cool. Another week here in the Pancake Talks. Uh, I hope we learn another thing today, and that will be more than enough.
Perfect, perfect. I want to remind everyone that we have our third meetup happening today. If you are in Brazil or near Brazil, we are joining and gathering in Sao Paulo. So let's check out our socials if you're near. Let's hope a really nice evening with all of the PancakeSwap community. And talking about community, I think it's a great place to start. Our guests today are we can I think we can say, and you Annie can correct me. It's one of the better communities right now, the ones that are making more noise. We can say. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree with that totally. Like I was in a couple of meetups with this. I don't know if I can leak it, but we will know. It's about Monad, and we speak about Monad before, and it's a blockchain that is gonna launch in the future. We don't know, but they have such a strong community. We see that when PancakeSwap announces that it's gonna be launching on Monad, we see the Monad community posting all the memes, videos, and we realize that there is such a strong community there. And also, when I was in Brussels, it was the same in the different meetups. I was there with the Monad community, and I feel the same as well. So yes, it's something strong there.
Yes, yes, yes. The most shocking or amazing thing is like Monad is not even launched. So it's really great to see that there is a community from the ashes that it's raising and raising and gathering all the attention from the ecosystem. So yeah, I won't bore you more with my speech. I want to invite the guests today to the stage. Let's give a warm welcome to Dan and I hope I'm pronouncing it okay, and to Meir from Magma Staking. Hey guys, what's up?
Hey
Hey,
guys, thank you for having us.
hey, thanks for having us.
No, no, no. Thanks to you for joining today. I know you are super busy. I know you are. I think you can see you are looking really forward to the day one, right? A lot of expectations around us.
Yeah, you mean around Mana as well, I'm assuming. Yeah, I mean, I think Mana is really addressing a niche which is, you know, super important. Like, developers already are very familiar with the EVM, and the scalability of existing solutions is not reaching the sort of like Visa or MasterCard levels where, we can get these tens of thousands of transactions per second. So I think there's a lot of people that are kind of waiting for Mana to come out and pretty much change the game for layer ones. So we're definitely among those.
Nice, nice, nice. Okay, I don't want to focus completely on the chain. We have seen a lot of stuff, but first, of course, I want to ask you if you can explain to us what is Magma and how it differentiates itself from other staking platforms.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, Magma is liquid staking on Monad. So users come to Magma, they deposit their Monad tokens, they receive the Gmonad token, which is a liquid stake token, an LST, and they subsequently earn staking yield. So that yield, that Monad token, the underlying Monad token, is then being staked through delegated proof of stake to one of our validators in our set of whitelisted validators. So basically, you'll have professional validators who will be doing the staking for you. So you don't have to run your own node. And the benefit for users is they can then receive the Gmonad token, and they can take that token, they can use it within DeFi throughout Monad. Potentially in the future they can use it for restaking. So basically they retain liquidity with the LST, and they get the yield from staking. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. In terms of what we're focused on, that we think is really going to give us an edge in the market. I would say a big part of it is community. So we want to basically align incentives with our community. We've been focused on growing the community for the last year. I mean, really, if you take a step back and you think about Monad itself, right? The biggest asset Monad has right now is the community, probably, right? If we take a big picture look at it. So community is super valuable, and we're trying to be the community-oriented liquid staking protocol on Monad. Additionally, we're researching MEV, planning some strategies around MEV, which will just boost the yield up a little bit for our users. And then in the long term, our long-term roadmap item is DBT, which is right now more of a research area for us, but it would have some benefits in the long term around improving decentralization and reducing the risk of slashing for users. So yeah, that's kind of about us, what we're doing, and some of the things that we're working on that are unique within Monad.
I am curious about this yield that these liquid staking assets will generate. I don't know if it's too early to say, or if you have any rough estimations, like how the yield will look like for staking of Gmonad. Like we can expect maybe, I don't know, a 4%, like or 6%, like Ethereum. 2 digits like Atom, or maybe like early days of PancakeSwap with 500. I don't know if there is any. Do you have any idea about how the yield will look like?
Yeah, probably not 500%. That'd be kind of funny, but no, it'll probably be something more in line with other large L1s. So, somewhere in that like 4 to 10% range, I would assume. But again, that's not really something that we know yet, and it depends on a number of factors as well, right? It depends on how many people are staking. It depends on, how other things about protocol revenue, gas fees. So it's going to depend on how successful the Monad ecosystem is really. And obviously the price of the token is also a factor. So Monad is Monad's going to have a native gas token most likely. That's kind of the idea, right? So that will be the token that's being earned through staking, the Monad token. And for users that are really bullish on Monad, every Monad token that you're earning through staking, potentially, if Monad achieves its goals and becomes sort of a dominant base layer within the space, providing like much higher throughput than everybody else with EVM compatibility, then you would stand to benefit from the upside of those additional staking rewards. So
yeah, thank you for your answer. And yeah, talking about this, like, why did you choose Monad integration? What did you see in there that makes you build a Magma project, liquid staking, on top of the Monad blockchain? And how did you get to know Monad blockchain? And when was this first time that you decided to build on top of it?
Dan, you want to take this one, or should I go for it?
Yeah, you can go for it, but I think for you, because as one of our founders, you'll be able to determine the exact date when you decide this is it. But I think when you look at Monad and what their thesis is, they're looking to basically open the gate that we've all been looking for. we've been looking at a lot of chains saying like, oh, this is going to drive mass adoption, but with the speed that Monad has with their parallel transactions, that is going to create such an inflow and such an opening for bigger institutions and other companies to actively start using blockchain as a payment vehicle. Liquid staking is a no-go. Is a no-brainer when you think about a new chain. We have experience in that. We thought is the perfect thing to build. Also from a community standpoint, I mostly look after the community as the marketing guy at Magma. The atmosphere is great. I mean, you've probably have been acquainted. Like you said, you were in Brussels. You've participated in some of the Monad gatherings there. The Nats are an awesome community to work in, and that positivity, that positive vibe, I think that pushes a lot of adoption for a lot of users as well. It makes it very nice to work with not just the Monad team, but also all the other teams that are building on Monad, because they all come in with a very positive vibe, very positive drive, to build something together for all of us, which is an awesome environment to work in and to actually like truly shine, because we really get to work together.
I'm curious about that moment. Does that moment exist when you said, okay, it's Mona, we are going to deploy here instead of other blockchains?
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Yeah, I mean, we started over a year ago. We were actually one of the very first, if not the first, project building specifically within Monad. And I think what really made us decide to switch over to Monad, or wasn't switch over, but to build within Monad and double down in the ecosystem was the quality of the team mainly. So we saw some of the folks on the community side in particular, like Intern Tunes, when they joined the team, that was really bullish signal for us. And obviously it was bullish that the founders were able to convince that type of talent to, leave already, high status, good roles at other, 2 VC firms in this case, to join on the bandwagon for Monad, right? So that was a really good signal. And that was around the time when we decided that, we were going to build specifically within Monad. And yeah, it's kind of, I think the other major part of the decision was, just the actual like technical benefits of the chain, right? Like, we've kind of been around in the space for a long time, and we see the problems with scaling. And whether you go back to like the early days with like Polygon, or I don't know if anybody remembers like Loom, which was the competitor to Polygon back in like 2017 and 2018. Like those were the original like scaling solutions that were kind of proposed, and they were both kind of just side chains. And and then basically we got rollups, but the rollups don't have the transaction throughput now that we need, and the base layer doesn't have either. And so it's kind of like, okay, you have Solana, has a number of issues on itself, but obviously Solana is great protocol. There's also Solana virtual machines, which are building on Ethereum now, rollups. But ultimately developers are going to need to learn a completely new dev stack to build on Solana. And right now, if you look at like TVL, developer metrics, all these things, EVM is kind of the king, right? I mean, there's great developers in Solana. It's just fewer number of them, right? There's much more builders within the Ethereum world, and so Monad basically taps into all of those from day one, right? Like projects like PancakeSwap, you guys are going to be able to come to Monad pretty seamlessly. And if there's, let's say, like a DPIN project or a SocialFi project or something, which can only be built on Monad because of the scalability, that project is going to then benefit from Magma and from PancakeSwap, because we'll be providing some of the core sort of like DeFi infrastructure around payments, yield, trading, etc., that will then power those applications. And in return, basically, especially for you guys as a EVM based project, you'll receive extra, in this case, volume, with pretty minimal sort of integration requirements, right? You're not gonna have to like rewrite your code base. You're not gonna have to rewrite your front end. not going to like re-audit your smart contracts. So it's going to be pretty seamless for you guys. Whereas if you guys were going to try to build PancakeSwap on Solana, that would be like a major endeavor, right? You guys would have to like hire a whole new set of engineers. They'd have to learn new technologies. It wouldn't be easy to seamlessly switch between the Solana version and the Ethereum version. You have to like integrate with bridges. You'd have to like do all these different things. So different wallets, etc. So yeah, having a highly scalable EVM is a no-brainer, and it's actually kind of surprising nobody has really tackled the problem at this level before Monad. But this is clearly a really important and much needed technology in the space. So it's something that we think is going to unlock new opportunities, new types of use cases that aren't possible right now, just due to like transaction fees, basically, when you scale up and get enough volume. And so yeah, pretty much those two reasons: quality of the team and the importance of just like a brutally fast, brutally scalable EVM chain. That's something that the ecosystem really needs.
Perfect. That is more than an answer that I was looking for. I thought you were saying, yeah, there was a date, and that's it. So high quality answer. Thank you. I think you just mentioned and you just told us all the benefits in terms of the quality of the chain and all the technical parts of the chain. But you also mentioned at the first of your speech the community. And I think Monad and all Magma and all the Monad community involvement is quite huge. And as we just told when we started, the chain is not even launched yet. So what do you think? And I'm talking maybe as you as Dan and you as Meir, not as the Monad guy, the Magma guys, just as you in the crypto ecosystem. What is your opinion about the place that or the role that the community plays into this crypto ecosystem?
That's a good question. I think the way that Monad has positioned themselves and their community is absolutely brilliant. Like I said before, it's a very welcoming, very open group of people. But what they do very well is, and I think that's what shows through all the communities, is there's a very big element of educating each other. As from Meir's comment just now, we're all very devoted to the tech. We're all very intense in the tech, but we also are very willing to share it with each other. There's no comment on, oh yeah, listen, if you're not a dev, I'm not going to explain it to you. This is just how it is. A lot of people in the nets will support me on this, are very kind and very open to share information with each other, and not just on the tech and the interesting stuff, but also on what are the best recipes in the countries they're from, or what is the best gym exercise that you can do for your glutes today, which is very relevant and very important if you're sitting behind your desk all day. So I think having such a large role of the community is good in spreading the news about Monad as a whole, but it's also making sure that the people and the users of all the projects have the right place. We can make an amazing project with an amazing website and it looks great, but if you don't honor the people that are going to use it, you're nowhere. And I think in Monad as a whole and all the adjacent projects in the ecosystem, I think that's why community is definitely a number one.
Yeah, definitely. And I would like to ask as well about this because Magma is going to be a DAO. This is right?
Correct.
Okay. And can you explain a little bit what is going to be the governance that is going to be in the protocol, how it's going to work, what is the decision taking mechanism, or if there is any plans for this, or how the governance is going to work?
Yeah, I think I could speak to that. So yeah, I mean, I think at a high level, the most important point is just that, you know, we want the protocol to actually be owned by the community. You know, when you think of governance in crypto, it often has even like a negative stereotype of kind of like a charade where there's this one founder who, you know, owns all the tokens and they have all the voting rights, and then, you know, you have this quote unquote governance process, which is really just like the founder voting for whatever he wants, or, you know, two of the largest VCs. You know, this is like a very typical scenario within Ethereum governance, to be honest, and we're trying to avoid that. So how are we trying to avoid that? Number of practical steps. You know, first of all, obviously we want to basically align incentives to our community. You know, so ensure that our community is owning a significant percentage of the token supply. And then furthermore, we want to make sure that voting rights are actually preferentially conferred to community members as opposed to, let's say, like early backers or team members or, you know, unvested tokens, etc. And so basically, you know, we've plotted out, but throughout the entire lifetime of the protocol, the team and insiders will have a minority governance vote throughout the protocol. So, you know, basically, we will not have the ability to unilaterally control the protocol against the wishes of the community. And that's kind of on purpose. You know, we don't want to, because once you set up a fake governance, which is what most protocols have, where, you know, again, the team owns the token supply and then they get all the governance votes. You can't, you know, people say, oh, we're going to progressively decentralize from there, but does that ever happen? Not really, right? You know, you have a bunch of mature DeFi protocols in Ethereum which still haven't, you know, progressed beyond that state where there's a few key actors that control the governance. So, yeah, you know, that's kind of something we wanted to bake in at the start and make that like a founding principle of the protocol. And in terms of like actually integrating the governance, right now we're planning to use Tally. So it's a pretty intuitive governance platform. So I'm not sure if you guys have used Tally before, but it's going to let pretty much, you know, people that aren't technical participate. You know, you're not going to have to let basically like read through the code or read through like a block explorer to use the governance. There'll be like a helpful UI. You know, people can delegate through the UI. They can, you know, read proposals. They can vote, etc. So, you know, we're hoping that the community will participate, and yeah, you know, it's going to be a community-driven protocol. That's the point of what we're building. So governance is really key to that.
Oh, if that's a doorbell, it's amazing. Okay, I love the part. I think I will steal you that phrase that if you don't honor the people who will use your protocol, you are nobody, and that's. I think I will steal that phrase. So thanks for the idea. I want to be a little bit more, just to turn this from the governance to an easier part or an easier or a funny part. I'm kind of in love with your mascot. The revamp that you had in the site, I think it's amazing. It's hypnotizing. How this idea come from, and does it have a name? Does it have a history behind? Tell me, I'm all ears.
Thank you. Yeah, we love her as well. So for all the Dragonets, they're very familiar with this character. Her name is Mona Lizza. And when I joined Magma DAO, we had the logo. I sat down with the founders, and we're like, okay, we have the logo. I think with the name we can do something cool. And because we're a DeFi project, our opportunities to have avatars or to, you know, make a play of a fun character, it's quite difficult. DeFi projects tend to be quite technical. They tend to be quite serious. But after studying the Monad community, we decided we needed to have, you know, something a little bit more than, you know, just our brains. So we devised this this creature. You can see by the ropes. This is a wizard, because we have you probably know the term a DeFi wizard. So that's Mona Lizza, and she's basically a fire salamander who lives in a cave. We have several excursions into Mona's cave, which are community-driven engagement activities every 2 weeks. where the community comes up with either fun memes or they support one of our partners. And it's basically a way for us to communicate from a third-party perspective, which also serves a good purpose. It's not just fun to do, but it also forces us to look at ourselves as a team from a third-party perspective who is outside of the team. Because even though I'm usually the voice of Mona, she's a character that describes what we do and talks about what we do, and she tells our stories, and she is the voice of our socials, and that sometimes brings to light, hey, we probably should approach things this way or that way, or maybe we should shine more light on this topic because this is very important for our community to know. So she functions like a bit of check and balance in our communication with our community.
I absolutely love it. From a person who comes from the community and also for the community, I think this is impressive and creates a bond that after it's really difficult to break. So nothing but congrats, guys. I love it.
Yeah, I also like it. From this funny question, we are moving to one of the most serious parts about DeFi and finance in general, is talking about security, and also one of the points that we mentioned today about decentralization. Maybe this is related with security, especially with some liquid staking protocols that are like leaders in their sectors. People are worried that they end up controlling a lot of the supply. So many of the validators are concentrated in one of the liquid staking protocols, and that is a security concern. So everything is not built in Monad, but imagine if Magma is one of the projects that accumulates a lot of the staking position, and then you control many of the percentage. So did you think about it? How what measures are you taking regarding this decentralization, and also regarding security? How Magma approach to these points?
Yeah, definitely. Both really important points. So yeah, for decentralization, first of all, as soon as Monad tokens enter the staking contract, they're going to be distributed and staked with, one of anywhere from 12 to 24 or more validators within our whitelist. So if one validator gets slashed, that's only 1 out of 24. And over time, we'll build like a slashing reserve fund, just like, other liquid staking protocols have to, defend against that situation, be able to cover any slashing events. I mean, it's not even clear if there would be slashing on day one of Monad, right? So, I think that's really important, spreading stake between a number of tier 1 validators. The quality of the validators that we're working with are, extremely high, really the best of the best. We have a number of partnerships that are going to be announced in the coming days, weeks, months, etc., with pretty much all of the best validators within crypto. That's going to really ensure that we don't have that sort of like rogue slashing event. Then, in terms of like smart contract security, I think that's super important for us. So we do plan to have multiple audits. I think the standard that we're going to shoot for is at least 3 audits from, very, very tier 1 auditors, not just kind of like a, one of the easy ones, but, really go through like a rigorous auditing process, bug bounty, etc. So I think also something that's so often overlooked is not just audits, but also like, the complexity of the code. So we're going to try to keep the code as minimal and clean as possible. We want to avoid having like thousands of lines of overly complicated code because, even if you get it audited, it's still, there's an argument to be made that, a small like 500 line smart contract that's been audited once might be safer than some like 10,000 line smart contract that's been audited 3 times, because just the complexity, is where people miss things, and the interactions between functions is often where you get these vulnerabilities. And so, obviously, traditionally, like the famous one would be reentry, which is usually interacting between a few different functions within the contract. So, having a minimal code base is going to be super important to us, and that's going to be like a design priority for us. So, yeah, I would say that's kind of how we're approaching things on security and decentralization.
Yeah, thank you for the answer, Meir. I think we have more questions. I pass to you the question, Fran.
Okay. Completely. Same for you guys. We don't like to be the bad cops here. So if you have any question, so just point it out. If not, I think I have a question. With the support from such we can say big players in the industry like Binance Labs, how does Magma plan to leverage these partnerships to expand and grow its ecosystem? Also, don't leak it anything, but of course, if you're here, you are in some kind of partnership with us too. So we can talk about no naming people if you want.
Yeah, I think when you're looking at a partnership, it's about when can we get the other and what can we get from them. One of the things that we look at is what can we learn from them? What's the expertise of the partner? We try to be very humble. We're very smart people, but we want to make sure that we are open to all the things that we can learn, all the things that we do not have. I think, for instance, in our partnership, regardless of what we could still establish in the future, right now, you have a platform and a large audience, which we can now utilize to tell people about what's coming, and it's been a little challenging because, of course, our main infrastructure that's being built by Monad, we're waiting on the go live there. But already, establishing relationships between the communities is very important right now in this stage. And that's one of the main things that we are leveraging right now to make sure we get to know who is in the space, we get to know who we can work with, we start to already understand where the expertise is that we may need, people who have a lot of experience. And like Meir said, keep an eye on our X on partnerships that we will be announcing in the coming weeks and months. There's some people in there with really big brains who we believe can really add a lot of benefit to our product.
Yeah, thank you for your answer, Dan. And yeah, partnerships are very important. I hope we get some deals around. And yeah, also liquidity is very important. So we are always there for that. Then talking about future plans and especially the roadmap for Magma, and I don't know if also Monad, but we are still in early stage. So whatever you can share about what are the next steps for Magma and Monad, if you can share any upcoming features or milestones that a user can be aware.
Yeah. So our roadmap, I think the Monad roadmap, obviously, it's very hard problems they're trying to tackle. So there's got to be some room for flexibility there. But as far as we understand, the plan is for a Monad testnet to be launched sometime in the coming months. And so, we plan to be live on day one of testnet. Now, actually, staking may not be necessarily live the same time that the testnet launches. But we'll still, have an app where people can interact with it. They can experience what the process will be like, depositing their collateral, receiving their LST. And then when staking is added to the testnet, then obviously we'll integrate staking with our validators, upgrade our contracts, and then basically start preparing for mainnet launch, which that's I don't we don't have a firm date for that, obviously, but our focus right now is on testnet, but we do plan to be live day one of testnet and mainnet. Yeah, and then in the long term, we're conducting a lot of R&D around MEV. So that's an active area of research for us. We haven't published anything on it yet, but it's something that in the coming weeks and months we're not going to rush it, but we're going to continue brainstorming with some of the validators that we're working with, some of the researchers within the MEV world, and just really getting the best perspectives on how to tackle that problem in a way that is going to benefit and not be like value extractive for the Monad ecosystem. And then additionally, our long-term roadmap item will be to build out DVT, or I guess DV as it's now being called, so distributed validator. It's almost like turning a validator into a blockchain. So you basically decentralize the validator into a bunch of different nodes. So there's not one person running the validator. There's like 20 people each running a validator that then come to consensus about each of their validators, and then that's the final validator. So that's kind of how DVT works. And benefits of DVT are actually pretty significant. The main benefit for the LST is it reduces slashing risk by potentially orders of magnitude. So you can think about it like this: like if you have a validator, and let's say there's like a liveness, let's say there's a slashing condition around liveness, and the validator goes down, right? It gets the servers crash, whatever. That's a slashing event, right? That validator is then going to get slashed. With DVT, you have 20 different people that are each running that validator, and you only need, let's say, like 12 of them to come to consensus in order for your validator to continue validating transactions, validating blocks. So basically, if 8 out of those validators go offline at the same time, which realistically probably wouldn't happen, right? Then your validator is still live. So that's kind of how the order of magnitude effect of reducing slashing risk works with DVT based validators. So that's a big thing for us. We want to obviously avoid slashing events as much as possible. In the beginning, we're going to start by just being really selective on the validator process, and then in the future, DVT is going to just take that to the next level. So it also has benefits within the entire blockchain landscape of Monad, where it improves decentralization. There's more people basically participating in consensus. So it's really just a win-win for everybody. But that's like a long-term research item for us at this point.
Wow, but yeah, very interesting, this DVT phase where you reduce risk of slashing. Yeah, very interesting of this. Hope your research brings something that is valuable for everybody. And I don't see we have any questions, at least that I can see. And I think we ran out of questions. Anything else, Chef Fran, you want to ask or mention?
No, I just want to say thank you both for coming today to another Pancake Talks episode. I really like how you are running things. I mean, could be, as you said at the beginning, could be just another boring DeFi protocol doing maybe great stuff, but when you put the objectives in terms of user base with the knowledge that are completely above the average, it's really difficult for the non-technical or the newbies on crypto to understand what is happening behind the stage. So the way that you are running, approaching to the community, explaining them in between with memes, in between with activities, in between with a lot of stuff that creates a bond with them, I think at the end of the day creates a better average user in the whole crypto space, that it will be it will has more knowledge, it will be less propense to get into scams, and also so talking about governance, we will they will know what it's happening when they create transactions, when they stake, when they get their collateral, and it's not just pressing buttons and hey, this APR looks fancy, let's ape in. We will have those users always, but no matter if we can create better average users at the end of the day, explaining in the way we can find, I think it's great. And I think that's one of the highlight points from Magma. And yeah, thanks again for getting here to explain us a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for having us and, helping us to explain. And yeah, I think we have a lot in common in that regard. We're really trying to service the end users within the community, and that's kind of our Northern Star. So yeah, definitely shared vision there.
Thanks. Okay, any last words? I will give you the closing curtain today.
Nothing else. We finished for today. Thank you, everybody, for being here, listening, learning another thing today. And yeah, it's time for you, Chefran, to go and enjoy this meeting in Brazil. Thank you very much for the Magma team for being here again. And we have very nice time together. Thank you.
Yeah, hope to see you in any Monad's party.
Yeah, we hang out.
Always the best parties, best food.
I need to try it out. Can't say anything yet.
You need to try
Mona
some.
knows what good food is.
All right, guys.
See you soon. Thank you so much for today.
Thank you all very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.